at 2:23 p.m. The ocean turned white. A column of fire rose into the sky. 6,000 meters high, sailors 200 kilometers away saw it. It wasn't a nuclear bomb. It was a battleship, exploding from the inside. Inside that fireball were 3,055 men. And almost all of them knew they weren't coming back. This was not a battle. It was an execution. And the ship at the center of it all was the largest battleship ever built. Japanese battleship Yamato. April 1945. The war was over. The United States had landed on Okinawa. Japan's navy was shattered. Most of its carriers were sunk. Fuel reserves were nearly gone. And inside Tokyo, the emperor asked a simple question. Does the navy have no ships left? That question sealed Yamato's fate. The operation was called Operation Tengo. Officially, it was a counterattack. In reality, it was a one-way mission. The plan was almost unthinkable. Yamato would sail south with 1 cruiser and 8 destroyers, break through the American fleet, reach Okinawa, run herself aground on the beach, and fight as a stationary fortress until every shell was fired, until every sailor was dead. This was not strategy. This was ritual suicide on a national scale. April 6th. Yamato prepared to leave port. There is a story that has lasted 80 years. The crew believed they were given fuel for only a one-way trip. Historians later debated whether that was fully true. It didn't matter, because the sailors believed it. That night, something strange happened aboard the ship. Men lined up quietly. Some shaved. Some wrote letters. Some cut locks of their hair. Some clipped their fingernails to send home. These were not soldiers preparing for victory. They were men preparing for death. Captain Kasaku, Aruga ordered the cadets and the medically unfit disembark. The youngest were sent home. The rest stayed. One survivor would later say, "It didn't feel like departure. It felt like waiting." Yamato was a masterpiece of steel. She displaced over 72,000 tons. She carried 9 18.1-inch guns, the largest naval artillery ever mounted on a warship. Each shell weighed 1.5 tons. Her armor belt was 410 millimeters thick. She was designed for a duel, for a clash of titans, but she would never fire at another battleship. She would fight airplanes. To prepare for this final mission, her deck was packed with anti-aircraft guns. Over 150 of them. The Japanese even developed a special shell, the Sanshiki Type 3 anti-air shell. It exploded in the air, scattering burning tubes of steel. It looked spectacular. It barely worked. The shell damaged Yamato's own gun barrels, and in combat it shot down almost nothing. The greatest naval gun ever built, reduced to firing at dots in the sky. Yamato was not outdated. She was born too late. April 7th, 12:30 p.m. Radar contacts. Not dozens, not 100. 386 aircraft. Launched from American carriers of Task Force 58, the horizon darkened. The sky turned metal. Yamato opened fire. Every anti-aircraft gun screamed at once. The air filled with black bursts and red tracer lines. But the American pilots did not attack randomly. They had a plan. Do not hit both sides. Hit only the port side. If both sides flood, the ship sinks upright. If one side floods, she rolls. The first torpedo struck. Water tore into the port side. The ship tilted 5 degrees, then 10, then 15. Inside the engineering compartments, men kept working. Steam roared. Alarms screamed. Damage control officers made a decision. Counterflood the starboard side. Flood the engine rooms. There were still men inside. There was no time to evacuate. Valves were opened. Seawater rushed in. Hundreds drowned. Others were scalded alive by exploding boilers. Yamato stabilized briefly. she bought 30 more minutes of life at the cost of her own crew. Massive turrets tore free from their mountings, thousands of tons of steel crashing into the sea. Then the magazines detonated. The explosion was so powerful it knocked American aircraft out of the sky. A mushroom cloud rose 6,000 meters. When the smoke cleared, Yamato was gone. 3,332 men had sailed. 276 survived. The United States lost 10 aircraft. That was the exchange. Picture this. 1941. The world's largest, most powerful battleship ever built slips into the water. This is the Yamato, a 72,000-ton behemoth, bristling with colossal 80.1-inch guns, capable of hurling shells over 26 miles. She was the pride of the Imperial Japanese Navy, a symbol of ultimate naval supremacy. But Yamato was born into the wrong era. While she was a masterpiece of battleship engineering, the age of the aircraft carrier had already dawned. Naval battles were no longer fought by dueling giants, but by swarms of carrier-based planes. In her entire career, Yamato never sank an enemy battleship. Her final mission in 1945 was a desperate, one-way suicide run to Okinawa. Lacking air cover, she was swarmed by nearly 400 American aircraft. The giant that was meant to rule the waves was sent to the bottom, a tragic monument to a bygone age of warfare. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more stories from history.